enjoyed what you guys were talking about in your guys' channel is what I was getting at. And if you want to hear about my day, it started off crazy, insane crazy today out here in Utah. I don't know if you guys saw the news. Anybody see the news about what happened in Utah this morning? A little scary. I'm taking a page out of James's book here. I'm drinking me some chamomile tea. Something hot sounded yummy. So, thank you, James. And it never came because you prayed, no doubt about it. So this morning I go to work. I have to go to work and start my shift at 5 o'clock, right? Everybody's already anxious because of this corona crap and the news and the media and blah, blah, blah. I'm sitting at my desk at 7:09, and I got 3 screens on my desk, right? And I'm kind of facing my third one over here. And the wall, I work in a giant big hangar, right? This wall starts wiggling. My desk starts doing the wave like this. All of a sudden I look up and the pipes on the roof start doing like this. The airplane that's sitting in front of me, it starts going like this, and everything above it started wiggling. And it was like 5-6 seconds. So anyway, we had a 5.7 magnitude on the Richter scale earthquake this morning. And there was about a 30-minute window. They evacuated all the buildings with the stress and anxiety of just the eerie aura feeling of the coronavirus crap going on. I am and my sister-in-law, she's like, "You good?" I was like, "Holy shit." My heart was pounding. But this hopelessness, just this powerlessness. Like, we are not in control. It felt like the end of the world. You got the coronavirus, and all of a sudden there's this huge earthquake shaking this giant building that we're in. It was a trip. And so we came home. We worked together. So we jump in the truck. We come home and check on the kids because they're not in school because of the coronavirus. We got our oldest boy watching them, and 2 of them slept through it. And Link, he's an early bird, so he was wide awake, and his eyes were about that big when we walked in the door. So nobody got hurt, no injuries. There's some minor structural damage out in Salt Lake. It was in Magna and made its way to the Air Force base I work on and shook our worlds. But that feeling of powerlessness was kind of awesome. I enjoyed it. I was in awe. When the building started shaking, I just stood up. I was just like, wow. There's this huge overhead crane, and it started, and I was in awe and staring at it before I realized, you're in danger. Like, go under your desk like you were taught in 2nd grade, or run away. And I looked at all the beams and, like, in a split second thought, I'm out of here. I went outside. So we all evacuated, and it was all good. The only major thing that happened is the Mormons around here got upset because of that angel they got on top of their temple. Moroni dropped his trumpet, hit the deck. Merc, we had an earthquake this morning. 5.7 earthquake. Felt like the end of the world. It was already eerie and spooky because the kids are at home. We all got this thing where we can't have meetings over 10 people in our work area. Everybody's just creeped out over coronavirus, and then boom, earthquake. He loves your shirt.
Yeah, that's my Uno.
What's up, Lynn B? Hello. The last earthquake we got like that was in 1992.
Down in St. George.
Down in St. George, yeah. So that was the first big one we've had for a while. But here in Utah, we live on this mountain ridge right here. This is Ben Lomond. And if you would see the rest of it, it goes down and around and all the way down almost to Arizona. And it's a huge fault line. So we've been ingrained as Utahns, as we've lived here our whole life. We're waiting for the big shake. You know, we've always had earthquake drills in school and diving under our desks and into doorways, you know, trying to.
Yeah, I only saw one person do what they were supposed to do. The rest of us just stood there like, what's going on? I don't understand.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I thought it was the wind. I didn't feel nothing. I'm oblivious to the world, apparently.
Hi, Lynn B. Yeah, that was insane this morning. And then I'm just looking at, you know, the powerlessness of it all. And then you see all these people that are way above me in the chain of command, and their arrogant egos, and they're trying to impress each other. And that earthquake just made it just so much more quieter. It was nice. Oh, cool. Yeah, Billy, this mountain is actually the mountain we live on. So if you came to our house, we live about here somewhere. That's us. Come say hi. Yeah, the Mormon statue. So they got temples out here in every major city. Then they got churches on every corner. Quiet. They got churches on every corner. And on top of their temple, they got Moroni blowing his trumpet. He dropped it. I seen it on eBay. Just kidding.
Lynn, are you nervous because you know there's not going to be any toilet paper? I get real kind of upset when I need to go to the store and I know there's not going to be any toilet paper.
Yeah, so after the earthquake, they said, you guys can go home. You got 2 hours administrative leave. Go ahead and check on your house. So we came. That is pretty, isn't it, Mama? So we came. I dropped her off. I was like, maybe we should buy a couple $100 more worth, because we've been stockpiling groceries a little bit just because it's getting crazy around here, and we got tons of mouths to feed. Corona anxiety, yes, and an earthquake. And I hate going to the store too. It's gross. I'm like grossed out everywhere I go. I'm washing my hands so much, my hands are cracking and all that great stuff.
Like, did you take your meds?
Anything on your guys' mind you want to talk about? TP, yeah. What is that?
It's just for your bunghole.
I know. I don't even know what it is.
It's a myth I heard about.
I heard about TP once.
It doesn't exist anymore in the corona apocalypse.
Yeah. That's the only reason I go to work, is because they don't run out of toilet paper up there. So you guys want to start off with reading some daily reflection? Get our minds into this recovery atmosphere. Toilet paper. What is toilet paper?
I've heard of paper towels.
Paper towels?
Or wet wipes.
Toilet paper. Never heard of it.
We call it a...
Do you get that in the store, or they don't have those in our stores around here? I heard that too, Billy. The dude found the cure in Queens Island. I also heard another thing, that there's a prescription you can get for malaria that would help with it. That could actually prevent it. But I don't believe any rumors anymore that I hear. Don't even trust them. Everywhere you go, you're like, ugh. Ew. So true. Yeah, at work, there's this girl, and she's in one of the other buildings in an office area. I'm not kidding. I walked into her area. She had that yellow and black stripe caution tape on the floor, 6 feet, cordoned off her desk, with a chair with a piece of paper taped on it that said, what's that called? Social separate, what are we?
Social distancing.
Yeah. In practicing social distancing, please do not cross this line. I about fell out of I almost fell down. It was so, and you'd have to know her too. You would have to know this girl.
Bob, you're having issues today.
Cat just got in the garbage. Bob.
I hope you have a better day, Bob.
Everybody join us. Ready? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Amen.
Amen.
Love that prayer.
Oh man, what's going on with Lynn B? Is she shaking? That's how anxious I. Uh-oh.
For the store.
I know how you feel. That's why I sent her and went back to work. Just kidding.
I'll get it first.
String.
I know. I got a mountain on my shirt.
Oh, cool. Yeah, my green key tag right here, if you look, has the mountains in it too.
Oh, that's cool. With words on it.
Ew. Billy, somebody in your rehab drank the sanitizer?
I heard of people doing that. At the rehab group I was in, they I still go there on Tuesdays. They made some hand sanit or some disinfectant spray with alcohol. They had to lock it up because he was actually worried about the people using hand sanitizer because the alcohol that soaks in through your skin and triggering people. Which is understandable. Us addicts are addicts
It
for a
works in
reason.
a pinch. Is that what he always says?
Yeah, it works in a pinch. May not be your drug of choice, but it works in a pinch.
Oh, Billy, I'm going to pay my sister. Alicia, if you're watching, I will give you money to grocery shop for me.
Lacia, can you go to the store real quick,
Hey, Dad.
please?
Do I have mountains on my nose? Oh, yep, I do. Like I have mountains on my nose.
Oh, yeah, you do.
They're
That's
blue,
cool.
but they have mountains. It's really cool.
Yeah, people suck, James. There's no doubt about that. There were people getting on base today. Like normally when you file in, you got people coming this way, people coming this way. You do the zipper, right? Woo, you merge as a zipper. People weren't letting people merge. It was ridiculous. One guy got out of his car. The security guard's like, "Get back in your car."
It's madness.
It's madness out there. Everybody's being self-centered right now. And that's what was so cool about that earthquake for a second today. The whole base had to just stop. 30 minutes, actually 2 hours. Everybody just had to stop. Don't sing that song. Stop.
Which one?
Wait a minute. Fill my cup. Put some liquor in it.
What?
Linky.
That song.
They just had
I
to
was thinking,
stop and
stop.
realize.
In the name of love, before you break my heart, think it over.
Yeah, I'd be safer in the car too, Lynn. But yeah, everybody had to stop for 2 hours and just realize they're not in charge. The ground shook. Ooh, what is that?
They needed to stop, collaborate, and listen.
That's the one I was thinking of. Real independence. The more we become willing to depend upon a higher power, the more independent we actually are. I start with a little willingness to trust God, and He causes that willingness to grow. The more willingness I have, the more trust I gain. And the more trust I gain, the more willingness I have. My dependence on God grows as my trust in Him grows. Before I became willing, I depended on myself for all my needs, and I was restricted by my incompleteness. Through my willingness to depend upon my higher power, whom I choose to call God, all my needs are provided for by someone who knows me better than I know myself. Even the needs I may not realize, as well as the ones yet to come, only someone who knows me that well could bring me to be myself and to help me fill the need in someone else that only I am meant to fill. There never will be another exactly like me, and that is real independence.
Exactly.
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 That's an interesting quote.
Yes, I do have a sister.
Real
And I will-
Nicole's talking to you.
I will pay her to go grocery shopping for me.
If she's online listening, Licia, we will pay you. You can buy yourself one steak at the store with our money when you go grocery shopping for us.
2 little ones.
2 little steaks. One for later.
For us.
I found an interesting quote online. It
You
said-
could actually. Oh, sorry, buddy.
I found an interesting quote online. It says, "To live is one of the rarest things in the world. Most people just exist. That's all."
That's true, dude.
Oscar Wilde. That's who said that.
To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist, and that's all. Yeah, screw that. I'm done existing. It's kind of all we did as addicts. We just existed as a fungus or a parasite. You know, if you have a Walmart out there by you, Linby, you can order online, and they have a place you can park that says pickup, and they'll bring it right out to your car and put it in the trunk if it's on the shelf these days. I know that Utah just came in as the #1 panic buyer in the nation at like plus 267% or something like that. Nevada was like minus 4%. Hawaii was like minus 15.
I think Michigan was minus 27. They just quit shopping altogether.
Yeah, it was crazy. but not Utah. Well, out here in Utah, if you're not familiar with the LDS family, and you can kind of see from us, and we're not even LDS, but they have to put 2 of their kids outside now that the governor has put in the 10 people meeting or less. 2 of the kids have to stay outside. That's how many kids these Mormon families have around here. You drink too much that you eat something, eat some bread or something before you go. Soak that up. Go Utah. Oh, that's funny.
Lynn,
So yeah,
Lynn, do you find that you drink more Diet Coke now that you're sober? Because LT drinks more Fresca.
yeah, I've been pounding Fresca, Diet 7-Up, Diet Sprite, anything with that lemon lime, Diet lemony stuff. It's good, and I drink it because if I drink caffeine past 3, I can't. I didn't sleep last night for crap. I'm tired. I've had like 2 hours of sleep since the last time I saw y'all. Yeah, that's crazy.
I have another inspiring quote.
Let's hear it.
Difficult roads lead to beautiful destinations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice one, dude.
that was a good one. I feel like we're at a beautiful destination right now.
Yeah, this is a beautiful destination. The fact that we can have 3 different channels, 3 different personality types, 3 different hours. And the reason I love it is because I just got out of a 5-month IOP where I spent every night 3.5 hours in this type of a setting where you were only talking recovery. Hear Nicole kick it off with what she was talking about and her personality, and then going into James and his personality, and then off into this little kind of family setting and our personalities plus your guys' personalities. It's awesome. I'm loving it. Caffeine. Oh, I forgot I can do this. Let's see. Got to be careful. Yeah, dude, I was drinking. I actually slowed down because when I was drinking Fresca, I was probably drinking like 5 or 6 a night right at the beginning when I got out of that. Even when I was in the IOP. I can't remember. But anyway, I was drinking so much that I would get up and it felt like I had worked out and my muscles were sore. I was like, oh my gosh, it feels like I've been working out. So I had to cut back on that. Any stimulant drink will give me anxiety. Oh, that sucks. That's true, Lynn. How much did you drink, Lynn? What was your bottom like? My bottom was the last weekend I drank close to 4 gallons over a 4-day period, 3 or 4-day period or something like that. I drank as soon as I got up, and then I'd pass out again about 10 o'clock from like 10 to 11:30, and I'd come out of it just for a minute and just enough to start drinking and pass out a little bit, and then wake up and start drinking. And then I called my dad. I said, Dad, take me to the hospital. I can't do this anymore.
When my names get home.
Who had the question about step 2? Who was? I heard James right at the end of his live chat. And somebody had a step 2 question.
I guess it's Bob.
Oh yeah, it was Bob. Was it Bob with the evil cat? That's awesome, Bob.
What kind of cat you got, Bob?
You got us playing on a TV or a
Mine.
computer or your phone? And I kicked my cats out. It's warm enough now. He peed on my laundry basket for the last time, and I threw him out the back door. And then I closed that back door because that's what us recovering addicts do.
And we lock the front door.
We close back doors. How many of you all had to close some back doors lately? What's up, Amos?
Lynn's worse. Jude Waldo asked about step 2. We were way off. Sorry, Bob.
5-liter box of wine a day. That's a lot. And there's so much sugar in that wine. I remember one time I was in a pinch and all I had was like bottles of wine and some beer. And of course, I was a whiskey drinker, so my tolerance was up here. So I drank that whiskey and that beer as fast as I could so I could hopefully get that whiskey drunk. All I did is made myself sick, threw up. Where are we at here?
Asking.
Oh, currently working step 2. I'm going to grab my step 2 that I had to do.
Well, he's grabbing step 2. I have another quote. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. That's why we call it the present.
I love that one.
That's a good one too, bud.
Here's all the homework I had to do in my IOP. Yep, relapse. Had to re-go do step 1 again because I relapsed. Here's my step 2. Maybe I can read some stuff on here that might help you out. When I was in prison, shut the back door. He's got a big monitor and some speakers too. The grandkid and the daughter are getting some exposure to sobriety night. Awesome. How old are the grandkids?
Let us know if they have questions.
Yeah, they could ask this
Thanks,
kid.
Sober James.
Yeah. Step 2 is a hope step. We had to read these. I would have to do my step, and then I'd have to read it to the group, and then the group would criticize it constructively and speak the addict out of me. Because when you first get into an IOP and a recovery, you're still an addict. You can get rid of the alcohol. If you have alcoholism, you can get rid of the alcohol, but there's still that ism. And once the alcohol is gone, you got to get rid of that ism, and that ism is you and your addict. And that is the part we have to discover through researching our character defects and praying and getting a sponsor and talking about it even if it sounds crazy, getting it off our chest so people can give us a different perspective on the right way to think, because our thinking was only created by addicts. So I would have to go through this, and I'd have to read this out loud. And let me read these 3 things to you. It says, this step is one of 2 hope steps, or one of the positive tools that I am using in my recovery. The emotions I have expressed while reading this assignment should show sincere effort in working this step, and I see the positive benefits in working this step. I will be defining the higher power that I have chosen to work step 2. Any higher power that has the ability to direct my life and help me in sobriety is a workable higher power. You will be looking to make sure that I have addressed each question honestly and thoroughly. If I do not show that I know how to use step 2 in my recovery, please stop me and give me some suggestions on what I should do differently so that I am more prepared for the next reading. Many times I saw people read I even had to go back and redo one of mine, but we would stop them and like, no, look, you're not doing that right. You're not thinking about this. You're talking like this. And we would stop their reading, and they would have to go and I have to go back and redo it. Well, this isn't a completed one, is it? Oh, I must have done it all on this paper. Where are we at on that? Hey, what's up, Polly? Oh, I love it when you come in here. How's everything going for you, brother? Taking Kratom? No, I haven't. That would be Nicole's expertise. I bet she knows a thing or two about that. I could Google it real quick. Alexa, what's Kratom?
Here are a few movies playing near.
Alexa, stop. Gosh, she's so dumb. I didn't ask about movies.
Yeah.
What?
Kratom helps with withdrawals.
I know. Well, like, what is it with? Like, what?
Billy says it's a bit like morphine.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, Kratom's a tree. The leaves are used in recreational drug and as medicine. Kratom is banned in some states in the U.S. due to safety concerns. People used Kratom for withdrawal from heroin, morphine, and other opiate drugs, as well as cough, depression, and anxiety, and many other conditions, but there is no good scientific evidence to support these uses. Using kratom can also be unsafe. Kratom has been linked to serious side effects, including hallucinations, seizures, liver damage, withdrawal, and death. Due to these and other serious safety concerns, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration continues to warn people to avoid using products containing kratom or its ingredients. Well, after reading that, I probably wouldn't use it. Especially if I had an hallucination, then I would go get meth or acid and try to continue that high. Whitney wanted to get on here and chat, but she said she's got to get her son bathed and shower and lay down for bed. But I don't know. I bet you $100 Nicole has way more about it than I do.
The key word. She won't even say it.
Oh,
It's that bad.
yeah, I'm not the guy to ask. I'm pretty much like Sober James as far as abstinence goes, because anything I use until I'm either in jail or in the hospital or I'm the guy that had to wake up and ask who I need to apologize to. I used to wake up and ask my kids, was I an asshole last night? Who did I make mad? What did I say? I'm that guy, thinking I'm funny when I'm not. I bet I was pretty funny though. Sometimes. Sometimes I was funny.
Until you fell on the stairs at grandma's.
I didn't see that. I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Bob Smith says, not that one, this one. If I did it, I would have to change my sobriety date. 12 years out the window for a low grade drug. Yeah, anything will do in a pinch. So Bob, was it you that had the step 2? I missed that whole thing.
No, it was,
Who was that? Is that person here?
another guy that is on his step 2. I forgot his name. It's on there somewhere. Bob was a meth guy too.
He's got 12 years under his belt. I bet you he's done step 2.
No, he's a meth guy.
Oh, Bob's a meth guy.
Hold on, I'll tell you. Jude Waldo was asking about his step 2.
Jude, are you here? Are you watching, Jude? I got my step 2 out if you have any questions. I'll tell you how I went through it and what I did. We even had to write a prayer at the end. I'll read you all my prayer. Oh, and they made you handwrite. I don't know if you can see that. They made you handwrite everything. The counselor said if you write it in your own hand, you probably already know this stuff, but if you write it in your own hand, and then you read it out loud of what you wrote. It was weird. Every time I would be writing it, I'd feel normal. I could just let in the thoughts and some emotions come out. But as soon as I read it out loud, I would get about 3/4 of the way through my assignment and I couldn't talk. I was tearing up in every assignment. So here was my prayer that I had to write at the end of mine. This is not the prayer. That's the... $151 turned me into a very mean drunk, Lynn B. Struggle with step 2. God will fix this mental train wreck. Yeah, right. I hear that. Where's my prayer? I had to write a prayer on this. I don't see it. I like what James said because he talks about using AA as his higher power, that collective. I can't find it. I wrote it on a different piece of paper. But James talks about using AA as his higher power because, and it makes sense to me when the way he says it and explains it. You go into that place and they're going to help you talk through your struggles. You're going to get things off your chest. They're going to show you ways to get through it. And they're going to help our minds at our train wrecks. And that is a higher power that is greater than ourselves that we can go and rely on. Like James also talks about, he hangs out with ladies that knit. There's a biker over there. There's, totally different personalities that have completely different views and upbringings in life. With us, one common connection of addiction and the outcome of overcoming addiction with more empathy, compassion, and love for one another. as a great higher power, in my opinion. And that is a higher power that we collectively use. And churches call it fellowship and gathering together and iron sharpening iron, as it says in the Bible. It doesn't have to be a God named Bob, James says.
I did.
Dear Bob. Agnostic. I like people that are agnostic because it's pretty much at the core of it. Everybody's an agnostic. You just don't know because you can't prove it.
Matt says step 3 has the prayer.
Oh, is it step 3? Matt, I thought you were going to bed.
He's got to keep you straight.
That's funny. Hold on, I just got corrected from my brother from another mother who I was in IOP with.
Dude, you guys even look alike. That's kind of creepy.
And we kind of look like brothers because we have beards, even though his beard is way nicer than my beard.
Because you spent his is like that cool, like the God of War round type thing.
Now I'm not going to be able to find my step 3.
I have another quote. Telling the truth and making someone cry is better than telling a lie and making someone feel happy.
I agree with that.
Nice picture.
Step 3. There it is.
Found it.
All right, Matt, let's see if you're right. Hey, there it is.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, and it says in your own, because you go from step 1, right? You came to believe in a power greater than yourself, can restore you to sanity because what you were doing was insane. And then step 3 says it says we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And then we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. And so step 3 takes you through how you're going to take your life and your will and turn it over to God. So I guess if you're stuck on step 2, how are you coming to believe in a God higher than yourself? James is digging your quotes. But this was my prayer at the end of step 3, if y'all are interested. It says, God, you know my sinful heart and mind, the things of lust I desire to hold on to, my hard-headed poor decisions in every life, with the infatuation, flirtatious love affair with the dark side of my heart. I need your help to be good. If I hang on to these attractions, I will ruin my marriage, my children's trust, respect in the community and workplace, end up an old, bitter, lonely drunk. Therefore, Lord, I beg you and I pray these out of my hands and uglify them in my sight. I pray that you pry these out of my hands and uglify them in my sight. You know how weak I am to temptation. If you don't do it, I will fail. I turn these over to you. I know that your ways are higher than my ways and that your thoughts are higher than my thoughts. I will trust in you and your will for my life. I know I can trust in you because you love me and want what's best for me. And you have led me down, and you have laid your life down for mine. I give mine to you to do as well. Please, Lord, hear my prayer. Amen.
Amen.
That was my step 3 prayer. I had to read it, and I had to read it with tears in my eyes because every time I got about 3/4 of the way through one of my steps, reading it out loud to the group, I started crying. Yes, that's a good one. That's why James is not only somewhat of an AA sponsor mentor from a distance, he's also my YouTube mentor as well, with great ideas, suggestions, cautions, and warnings.
Sober James, believe it or not, we're both LT.
Oh yeah, does Sober James know that? Tell him why. Thank you, Linby.
He's Leonard Ted, and I'm Link Ty. So I take after his name.
Yep. LTW, Link Ty Weaver, Leonard Ted Weaver, and then he's Link Ty Weaver. Yeah, we did that. Thanks,
I'm a
Billy.
connection.
Was it on purpose or did you like accidentally do that and you were like, whoa?
No, we kind of did it on purpose.
Kind of.
I can't remember back that far. I was only like 3.
Shatter yourself.
I'm going to go through some of the questions on step 2, though. We'll go through some of these questions that I had to answer. It says, describe your higher power as you know it today. And then the second question is, why is step 2 so important for your recovery? So anybody throw up some wisdom in the comment section and let me know, why is step 2 so important in our recovery? James hit on this earlier on his channel, on his middle podcast. Billy Poppins, is that a big old giant weed of sticky, icky, purple, cushy, ushy in your profile picture there? Yeah, it's weird having those emotions come back. And it's trippy having like the good ones come back and scare you, because when I would get excited or pumped up, and kind of like James was yesterday, just excited and happy and having fun, that's when I like to bring the house down and go out and get everybody pumped up and jumping and doing backflips. And that's when I would usually bring a couple bottles of whiskey and I would have the party rocking.
Ooh, here's a quote about alcohol. What consumes your mind controls your life.
Say that again.
What consumes your mind controls your life.
That's true.
That's true.
I've heard it said that if you want to know who your God is, it's true.
It's true.
If you want to know who your God is, what do you think about the most? So take your full 24 hours a day, or go for your 16 hours of your waking hours. Write down what you think about most, what you chase after most, what you are most consumed with by thought, action, and what you want most is, I've heard said, that is your God. Yes, my mom loves it. My mom, where are you from, Billy? Should we say, oi, bruv?
Wait, bro.
Is Nicole the pastor? Merc. Who did Sober James? Who'd you think Merc's profile picture was today? Oh, the Marlboro Man.
That's not the marble.
That's John Wayne.
The legend himself.
Yeah, let's get this thing up to 152 million likes today. That would be awesome. It's the hope step. That's why it's the hope step. It gives you, that's awesome. Alan Green. Look at this guy's arms, you guys. Look at this guy's barrel chest. This guy could pop your head like a pimple. What's going on, Alan? How you doing, brother? Glad you're here. Microdose. What does that mean?
Yeah, what's a microdose?
No such thing in my house. You sniff
Yeah.
that whole line. You
Macrodose.
smash that whole beer. You slam that whole shot, and you smoke that whole bong. One hit, 4-foot bong rips in my house. Australia. Nice.
Only bro.
Bob, serious question on the screen for you right now.
What did he say? What did Bob say? Go back to his.
The practicing drug addicts are trying to get me to eat their food. You think it's dosed? She threatened to dose me days ago. She said, don't do it. Stay away from it. I know somebody who did that in their addiction. They didn't like who they were living with. And when they would get sick of them, they made them a special glass of tea.
Was it arsenic?
No,
Well, that's good.
they put them straight to bed. Bob, you sound like you're in an unsafe environment. Don't know how you can get out of that. We would always, when new people would come into our group, we would first thing, how you doing? What's your name? What's your drug of choice? Why you here? What brought you here? And then what's your living situation was always one of the questions. What's your living situation? And if it was anything like that, how can you get out of it? What is your options? And then the counselor would ask us, who is willing to do whatever it takes for your sobriety? Everybody raised their hand at first, and And he was like, whatever it takes. Would you quit your job right now to stay sober? Would you drop everything and run to stay sober? I mean, would you do whatever it takes? Like, can you kick them out, or they ain't got no place to go? You got 12 years under your belt. So I imagine you're probably pretty strong, but it only takes time to weaken a man like me. I know that.
Bob, if you're hungry, you can go to Ash's house. I hear she makes real good food.
Ash is a good cook from what we heard. No doubt about it. All right, where are we at?
Oh, right there. Oh, microdoses from mushrooms and LSD.
Oh, okay.
4 is 4.
Oh, gotcha. Lucky. I've been praying that they kick us home for a couple of weeks just to get out of there for 2 weeks would just be such an awesome thing. And there was a giant earthquake this morning, and they didn't even send us home but for 2 hours. Go make sure your water pipes aren't broken. Be back here by 10. All right.
Oh, Lynn, good luck at the store.
Are you going to the store right now, Lynn? Maybe put some, when you get there, keep this thing rolling on your phone. Put some headphones in. Keep your head down. Wipe off that cart with some hand sanitizer wipes.
Hand sanitizer.
Head down, straight to what you need, and out. That's how I shop. Out of my way, people. That's awesome. He's out of here. What's up with you, normal James? Alan says he would quit his job to stay sober. I would quit my job because I don't want to work there anymore. But I do it to stay sober too.
Bedroom. You could come run away to Utah.
Yeah, come to Utah. It's pretty cool here.
We have cats. Fit right in.
Our cats got kicked out.
Merck says he's been hitting the gym 3 times a week. Yeah. Merck, right now, I can tell you by looking at him, if you want to get as big as he does, you need to hit the gym twice a day. You need to do heavy, low sets, about 6 to 8 reps. And when you get to that 8th rep, that's you're shaking. It's right to failure. You do 3-4 sets of those and on to something else heavy. I would suggest hitting chest and back in the same day. Then you get your triceps and biceps. Don't get me talking about how I used to like to work out.
Ooh, click on Veronica.
Veronica. Awesome. Oh, yeah, your appointment that you were telling us about last night. I had the most amazing normal day. No drugs, no chasing drugs, just me and my babies. Amazing. What a blessing. Oh, I'm glad to hear that good news. That makes me feel good that you had that day. How do you feel right now? Weight off your chest? You feel happy? You in a pink cloud type thing going on? That's awesome. We had an awesome day too. We had an earthquake this morning. I don't even know if it got over this many people, how we could even keep up with the chat. Just have to catch every 5th or 10th one.
We just pick one and keep talking.
Yeah.
Mikey, do you want to tell them about your earthquake experience?
Oh, yeah. So I woke up sitting on the bed. Next thing you know, the ground starts shaking. I think a semi's pulling into our driveway. I look outside. Nobody's there. You get a phone call from Mom saying, "Did you feel the earthquake?"
The reason he would think a semi was pulling in our driveway is because our neighbor across the street flips them. And he's parked them in our driveway many times. That's funny. Listen to this paragraph, y'all. I'm going to spit some self-acceptance NA. This is from NA Fellowship. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it's from an NA literature. says disclosure, this meeting is nowhere endorsed or sponsored by AA or NA in any way. We just learned all this stuff. Before coming to NA, most of us spent our entire lives in self-rejection. We hated ourselves and we tried every way we could to become someone different. We wanted to be anyone but who we were. Unable to accept ourselves, we tried to gain the acceptance of others. We wanted other people to give us the love and acceptance we could not give ourselves. But our love and friendship were always conditional. We would do anything for anyone just to gain their acceptance and approval, and then would resent those who wouldn't respond the way we wanted them to. Because we could not accept ourselves, we expected to be rejected by others. We would not allow anyone to get close to us for fear that if they really knew us, they would also hate us. To protect ourselves from vulnerability, we would reject others before they had a chance to reject us. There's some food for thought. What y'all think about that?
I thought about something while you were reading it, Dad.
Hold on, let's talk to Veron. Oh, go ahead, real quick.
Always look to the right. Always look for the right. Always look for the right.
Okay. Veronica says she feels so amazing. I have no idea. I really did need a meeting. So happy to be there. I'm still struggling with forgiving myself and my relapse, but I'm getting there. Good for you. What did anything in your meeting stick out to you? Did you have an aha moment? What was a gold nugget maybe you brought home to meditate on? Can you share that with us? Obviously, keep anonymity what it is, but what good nugget did you pull out of your meeting today? Recovery and romance. First off, Billy, how much time do you have clean and how much time does she have clean? Because this could be your addict talking. I've seen this in my group multiple times. So we have to answer a few questions before we can answer, will it work or not? Ash, would you like to get on the channel? Ash, if I sent you a link, would you jump on here and talk to us? Then you can talk to everybody. You can talk to us like we're Skyping. Ash, if you want to, I will put a link in the description or in the comments, and you will be able to link right into us. It's up to you. Hey, Lynn B, thanks for coming. Have a good night and sleep well. And remember, we recover better together. That's what that 3-hour trilogy of recovery is all about. Sober James, right out the gate. Boom. Nope, won't work, Billy. That was my first reaction, too. I was going to say that, too. 102 days, Billy Poppin says. No, stay away. I've seen it too many times, and a lot of times it feels right, but it's your addict mind telling you, I want what I want, and I want it now. And I understand that we're humans and that we desire and care to be cared for and want to be around other people and just all that stuff. But for the first year is suggested to not start a new relationship. 102 days, not how long were you using as well? You can kind of throw that in there too. I would work on you first. Get your mind right, and I'll bet you getting your mind right, you're going to have, at 102 days, you're going to have more aha moments and, wow, life is really like this moments. And I believe that you would make the right decision by not going down that road. I agree with James in the danger mode. Yes, rehabilitate. Or it's just you end up reverting back into our old habits. Polly says, stay away from it, Billy. So here's another thing too, Billy. My counselor used to tell us, if one person tells you you have a tell, okay, whatever. But if two people tell you you got a tell, at least look. And now you've got me, you've got a few other people who've got sobriety under their belt telling you that you got to tell. So I would take a look at it really hard.
There's Veronica's nugget.
Here comes Veronica's nugget. Today, someone told me, once you've asked for forgiveness and repented of my wrongdoings, God has forgiven me, and let it go so that I may pass to forgive myself and allow myself to move. Yeah, absolutely. We can only do what we can do. In step 8 and 9, you write down the people you were wronged, and you apologize whenever possible if it doesn't bring harm to them or others. And you and we are not others. It's them or others. You make your amends. If you have to write a letter, if you have to do whatever you got to do to make amends, if they accept it or not, you have no choice, or you have no control over that. But you've done your part. Yeah, I agree. That's awesome.
Ashley's equipment's all messed up. It's real anonymity for Ash. She can't even see what we look like.
Oh, really? So we're like a podcast, kind of? Oh, that's a bummer. We'd love to have you on here. Nighty night, sober James. Sleep good.
Don't let the
Billy
bed bugs
said,
bite.
I get it, mate.
Where is he at?
You're just we're on it.
Sweet. I think that's a good choice. I've seen it happen twice and more than that. And the counselor every time said the same things. Don't just worry and take care of yourself. And I'll bet James, he's got 4 years under his belt. He's got a lot more advice on it than I do. I was lucky enough to be married, so I never had to deal with any of that. Just had to learn how to recover in marriage. Right on. Do you have a home group looking for a sponsor in that home group kind of thing going on? Billy, we're glad you joined it too. We are really glad you joined it too. And if you're on here and this is the first time you're seeing it for some reason, we do this like this. Let me show you with this little green screen. Boom. Oh, shit. We got Nicole at 6 o'clock, James at 7, and then right here in Recovery and Addict at 8. This is all mountain time, so adjust it for wherever you live. 6, 7, and 8, and we're doing this trilogy of recovery. It's 3 hours every night. We're going to do it until this whole coronavirus quarantine thing is done, until meetings start popping back up, and then we'll go back to our usual uploads and things like that, unless this spurs some kind of crazy thing. I don't know. I'm thinking about renting that would be kind of cool. Rent a stadium of some sort and have Nicole and James, and maybe you guys fly out. We all have this huge convention. I'm gonna look into something like that.
Ooh, a convention, that'd be cool.
I'd love to speak at a convention. That would be fun. Whoops. Maddie was watching. He sent us a picture. He's watching.
Oh, we're huge.
He's watching on his big screen. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. That's awesome. All right, choose wisely. Radio All Peach. Oh, thanks, brother. Thanks for the sub. More than you know. Every sub I see, click, man. That's my new drug, the subs.
Other way. Other way.
Awesome. Yeah, get involved in that home group. They say to go 15, 20 minutes early, stay 15, 20 minutes after, and just mingle, network, get to know people. If you can serve somehow, serve somehow. Oh, yeah, Merc, you better be there.
We'll get to meet John Wayne.
What do you, I wouldn't hold back. Just like, I think I read this last night when Brittany was on here. And this stuck out to me. Start talking to people who are not going to accuse, criticize, or minimize like us or like your sponsor, I'm sure would be. You need to talk about what you're experiencing. It will help you look at your situation more realistically. It will help you bring internal symptoms to your conscious awareness, and it will give you support when you need others to rely on. Express as much as you can about what you're thinking and feeling, even if it seems irrational and unfounded. This is from a book called Staying Sober by Gorski. And from what I've read this much so far, it basically is exactly the group therapy that I went through about. It's about relapse prevention. I suggest reading that book. It's got some good stuff. Maybe I can get my sponsor on here. Ash, this will happen. My sponsor's amazing. I'm going to talk to him tomorrow, and I'll see if I can have him on Thursday night or Friday night. Well, that would be tomorrow night. So maybe tomorrow night or Friday night, I'm going to set up a live chat with my sponsor. And this guy I'll let him tell his story, and we'll talk back and forth. I'll let you see how he checks on me and all that kind of good stuff. Great idea. I got into a relationship with about a year and a couple of months, but the only thing I did my first 10 months incarcerated. That definitely is. Yeah, I agree with you there, Al. Look at Bob.
I like you, Bob.
Bob's awesome. That's harsh but true. There you go. That's a good advice, Merc. Bob the bad luck builder. Bob the bad luck builder.
I think that was Puff the Magic Dragon's tune.
Yeah, it was. Huh. Imagine that. All right, y'all. It is 9 o'clock. That is.
Oh my gosh.
What?
I like Mr. Vickers. Wait, no, this one.
Don't give up, Bob. You'll
This is
save
good
somebody.
Some good perspective, positivity.
Oh, that's great.
And that one is the one that matters. He's
True.
got is very true.
That's kind of the motto or the motivation behind our live streams and the videos that I upload on the weekends is if we can just help one, then it was worth it. Plus, it helps me stay sober because then I'm constantly, everywhere I go, I got my books, I got my assignments in my face. She's thinking about it, and we're researching it, and reading about it, and thinking about it during the day. And it's helping me with my character defects where when I'm at work, dealing with my resentment and just being trapped in a job. If you guys didn't watch my video on perspective. I was really deep into character defects the 2 days that I put that video together. So I kind of made that video just to get it off my chest. It's the one that says perspective. It's got it's in the cemetery. I walked through a cemetery to make the video. That kind of gives you an idea where my head was. Yeah, brother, I got to get going too. It's 9 o'clock. That ends our 3 hours of recovery together. And our trilogy, don't forget, this is going to happen every night until this epidemic is over with. So tomorrow night, 6 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time, you can catch Nicole on Real Talk Recovery. Right after her channel, we all move over to Sober James's channel, and he kicks off his. And then right after 7 o'clock on Sober James, we land here on The Late Show and continue. I like to read literature. We'd like to try to have the family aspect of this. So if you have somebody that you know needs to hear it from a non-addict's perspective who lived with an addict, share this video, invite them to come live with us. After the virus is all that crap's over, we do this family recovery every Tuesday night anyway. So that's what we're here for. Link, he loves being here and joining us. We can talk about his story one day. If you haven't seen it, it's in my videos with the helicopter life flight thumbnail. Kind of gives you an idea of the accident he went through almost 3 years ago now.
See the scars?
Yeah, he had a vicious accident. Hey, Bob, thank you so much for coming and joining us. And yes, we are going to say the Serenity Prayer. Oh, reflection. The daily reflection? You want to read that one again? I'll read it again. So we'll end with reflection, Serenity Prayer, and then we are out. The more we become willing to depend upon a higher power, the more independent we actually are. Excuse me. I start with a little willingness to trust God, and He causes that willingness to grow. The more willingness I have, the more trust I gain. And the more trust I gain, the more willingness I have. My dependence on God grows as my trust in Him grows. Before I became willing, I depended on myself for all my needs, and I was restricted by my incompleteness. Through my willingness to depend upon my higher power, whom I choose to call God, all my needs are provided by someone who knows me better than I know myself. Even the needs I may not realize, as well as the ones yet to come. Only someone who knows me that well could bring me to be myself and help me fill the need in someone else that only I am meant to fill. I love that part right there. We are made as social creatures, and God made us to complete each other in some way, shape, or form, and there's no other people that can do it but us. There never will be another exactly like me, and that is real independence.
Now we pray to Bob.
God,
God,
grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Stay strong, work your programs, and remember, we recover